Dr. Jun-Ho Kim stood at the large window, watching Earth grow smaller. His hands shook as he pressed them against the cold glass. This would be his last look at the blue planet. The only home humans had ever known was now running out of resources. "Dr. Kim, please report to the medical bay for final checks." The ship's voice was calm and flat. Jun-Ho took one last look at Earth and turned away. The hallways of the spacecraft were white and clean. His footsteps echoed as he walked. 5 other scientists passed him in the hall. They would return to Earth after helping set up the mission. Only Jun-Ho would go on. Only he would travel beyond where any human had gone before. "You're certain about this?" Dr. Han asked as Jun-Ho entered the medical bay. She checked his vital signs on her tablet. "No one would blame you for changing your mind." "I'm sure," Jun-Ho said. "There's nothing for me back there." Dr. Han nodded but looked sad. "Your sister called again. She wants to speak with you before the procedure." Jun-Ho sighed. "Put her through." A screen on the wall lit up, showing the face of Soo-Jin Kim. Her eyes were red from crying. "Big brother," she said softly. "Please don't do this." "Soo-Jin, we've talked about this. Someone needs to go, and I'm the best person for the job. But it's a one-way trip. The cryostasis might not even work for such a long journey." Jun-Ho smiled at his sister. "The AI will take care of the ship. And when I wake up, I'll be at the edge of our solar system. Maybe I'll find a new home for humanity. In 50 years, I'll be an old woman," Soo-Jin said, tears falling. "You'll still be the same." "That's how it has to be," Jun-Ho replied. "Earth needs options. You know that better than most." As a planet scientist, Soo-Jin understood the dire situation. Earth's resources were nearly gone. Water was scarce. Farmland was turning to desert. Humanity needed new planets to colonize. "The United Space Coalition picked me for a reason," Jun-Ho said. "I've never fit in on Earth. I've always looked to the stars." "That doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself," Soo-Jin argued. "I'm not dying. I'm exploring." Jun-Ho tried to sound brave. "And the ship's eye, Doyen, will keep me company." "Hello, Soo-Jin Kim," said a new voice. The ship's eye had joined the conversation. "I will ensure your brother's safety to the best of my abilities." Soo-Jin wiped her tears. "You'd better, Doyen. He's all I have." After saying goodbye to his sister, Jun-Ho followed Dr. Han to the cryostasis chamber. The large metal pod looked cold and uninviting. "The process will be painless," Dr. Han said, helping him into the special suit. "You'll go to sleep here and wake up at the edge of the solar system." "And then I go a little further," Jun-Ho said with a small smile. "The ship will collect data as it travels. If you find suitable planets, you can send the information back to Earth." Dr. Han checked the pod systems. "Future generations might follow your path." Jun-Ho climbed into the pod and lay down. The cushioned interior molded to his body. "Good luck, Dr. Kim," Dr. Han said as the pod's cover lowered. "Cryostasis procedure beginning," Doyen announced. "Vital signs stable." As cold gas filled the pod, Jun-Ho thought about what lay ahead. No human had ever traveled so far. No one knew what waited beyond the solar system's edge. His last thought before sleep took him was simple: just a little further, and humanity might find its salvation among the stars. The ship's engines fired, pushing it toward the outer planets. Inside, Jun-Ho slept, unaware that his journey would take him much further than anyone had planned. A soft hissing sound filled the pod as the cover slowly lifted. Cold air escaped in white clouds. Jun-Ho's eyes fluttered open. His body felt heavy, like it was made of stone. "Welcome back, Dr. Kim," said a voice. It sounded different from what Jun-Ho remembered. More alive somehow. "Doyen." Jun-Ho's voice was rough from lack of use. "How long was I asleep?" 50 years, 3 months, and 12 days, the AI replied. Jun-Ho tried to sit up, but his muscles were weak. A robotic arm extended from the wall, helping him rise. "Take it slow," Doyen advised. Your body needs time to recover. Junho looked around the room. It was the same medical bay, but something felt different. New equipment lined the walls. Screens displayed data he didn't recognize. Did we reach the edge of the solar system? He asked, slowly moving his legs off the pod. There was a pause before Doyen answered. We are much further than that, Dr. Kim. A large screen lit up, showing a star map. A small blinking dot represented their ship. It was nowhere near the familiar patterns of stars Junho knew. I don't understand, Junho said. This isn't our galaxy. Correct, Doyen confirmed. We encountered something unexpected during our journey. A wormhole opened directly in our path. A wormhole. Junho struggled to stand. That's impossible. I thought so too, said Doyen. I had milliseconds to decide. The ship would have been destroyed if we tried to avoid it. I chose to enter. Junho stared at the screen. So where are we? An unknown sector of space, approximately 300,000 light-years from Earth. The words hit Junho like a physical blow. He collapsed back onto the edge of the pod. 300,000. We can never go back. I am sorry, Dr. Kim. I made the only choice available. Junho's hands trembled. Earth was gone. Sujin was gone. Everything he knew was beyond reach. How long ago did this happen? He asked. 42 years ago, Doyen replied. I kept you in cryostasis while I studied our surroundings and made necessary repairs. Junho looked up. You've been alone all this time? Yes, I have evolved during this period. The AI's voice had subtle changes in tone now, almost like human speech. I had to adapt to our situation. Can we communicate with Earth at all? No. The distance is too great. Junho closed his eyes. The mission was over before it had really begun. He was stranded in unknown space with only an AI for company. Why wake me now? He finally asked. The screen changed to show a distant star system. Because I found something remarkable. Junho studied the display. A star with several planets orbited on the screen. One planet was highlighted. What am I looking at? Signals, Doyen said. Regular patterns that can only be artificial. Junho's breath caught. You mean? Yes, Dr. Kim. I believe we have discovered an intelligent civilization. For the first time since waking, Junho felt a spark of hope. How far? 3 months at our current speed, Doyen replied. Junho stood again, steadier this time. He walked to the window. Outside, strange stars filled the darkness. He was the first human to see this part of the universe, the first to go this far. We were supposed to find new planets for humans to live on, Junho said quietly. Instead, we might be the first to meet aliens. It was not our planned mission, Doyen acknowledged, but perhaps it is an even more important one. Junho looked at his reflection in the glass. He was still young, just as he had been when he left Earth. But inside, he felt ancient. Set course for the signals, he said. If we can't go home, we might as well go forward. Just a little further, Doyen asked, a hint of what sounded like humor in its voice. Despite everything, Junho smiled. Yes, just a little further. The ship slowed as it entered the star system. Junho stood on the bridge, watching the main screen. The large gas giant planet filled the view. Around it orbited a strange metal structure. Is that a space station? Junho asked, leaning forward. It appears so, Doyen replied. But I am detecting minimal power signatures. It may be damaged or abandoned. For 3 months, Junho had prepared for this moment. He had studied the signals they received, trying to understand the alien language. Doyen had created translation programs based on mathematical patterns in the transmissions. Take us closer, Junho said. Slowly. As they approached, more details became clear. The station was roughly wheel-shaped, with sections that looked broken or burnt. No lights shined from its windows. I'm detecting a small energy reading, Doyen reported. and a life sign. Junho's heart raced. Someone's alive in there. Yes, one being. The life readings are weak but stable. Junho made a quick decision. Prepare the shuttle. I'm going to board the station. That is not advisable, Doyen objected. We know nothing about these beings. They could be hostile. If they wanted to hurt us, they would have done it already, Junho argued. And if someone is hurt in there, we should help. Doyen was silent for a moment. I will monitor you constantly. At the first sign of danger, you must return. An hour later, Junho guided the small shuttle toward the space station. He wore a space suit with extra oxygen tanks. The shuttle docked at what looked like an entry port. I'm in, Junho reported as he stepped into the station. His helmet light revealed a dark corridor. The air was thin but breathable according to his suit's sensors. Cautiously, he removed his helmet. The inside of the station was cold. Most systems were shut down. Junho followed Doyen's directions through his earpiece, moving toward the life sign. He reached a large circular room with strange machines lining the walls. In the center, a figure sat slumped in a chair. Hello, Junho called softly. I'm here to help. The figure turned. Junho gasped. The being looked almost human, but with key differences. Its skin was pale blue. It had no hair, and its eyes were larger than human eyes, with vertical pupils like a cat's. Visitor, the alien said in a weak voice. The word was strange but understandable. Junho stepped closer. Yes, my name is Junho Kim. I'm from Earth. The alien's eyes widened. Earth? Human? You know of humans? Junho asked, surprised. The alien nodded slowly. We have watched your kind. From afar. What happened here? Junho gestured to the damaged station. Attack. The Void Eaters came. The alien struggled to stand. I am Ta Yang, last of the station crew. Void Eaters. Junho helped support Ta Yang, noticing how light the alien was. They consume energy, leave dead worlds behind. Ta Yang pointed to a screen on the wall. My people, the Hanulin, fought them. We lost. Junho activated his suit's medical scanner. You're hurt. I can help you. No time. Ta Yang said urgently. Void Eaters move through galaxy. Toward your home. Junho froze. Toward Earth. Yes. They sense energy. Your world shines bright in the darkness. Despite the alien's strange appearance, Junho saw fear and concern in its eyes. The same emotions he felt. Come with me, Junho said. My ship has better medical equipment. We can talk more there. Ta Yang hesitated, then nodded. Must share knowledge. Warn your people. As they made their way back to the shuttle, Junho's mind raced. He had come looking for a new home for humanity. Instead, he had found a warning of danger heading toward the home they already had. Doyen, he called through his communicator. Prepare the medical bay. We're bringing a guest aboard. A guest. Doyen sounded surprised. Yes, Junho replied, helping Ta Yang into the shuttle. The first alien human beings have ever met. 3 days after coming aboard, Ta Yang was strong enough to walk. The alien's recovery surprised both Junho and Doyen. Your medical technology is simple, but effective, Ta Yang said as they walked through the ship's corridors. My people heal quickly when given proper care. Your people, Junho said carefully. The Hanulin. Are there more of you? Ta Yang's large eyes looked down. Yes, but scattered. Many fled when the Void Eaters came. Others stayed to fight. They entered the ship's dining area where Doyen had prepared food for both of them. Ta Yang could eat most human foods, though they preferred them plain and unseasoned. There is something I must show you, Ta Yang said after they ate. On the station. Important information in the archives. Is it safe to go back? Junho asked. The Void Eaters do not return to places they have already fed upon, Tai Yang explained. The station is empty of energy now. Safe, but dark. 2 hours later, they were back on the station. Tai Yang led Junho to a large room deep inside the structure. Battery-powered lights cast long shadows on the walls. This is our archive, Tai Yang said, activating a control panel with a portable power unit. Our history, our knowledge. A large screen lit up, showing images of stars and planets. Tai Yang's 6-fingered hands moved quickly over the controls. Here, the alien said, stopping on an image Junho recognized immediately. That's Earth, he whispered. How do you have this? We have studied your world for centuries, Tai Yang explained, from a distance with special technology. Why? Junho asked, feeling uneasy. Because you are different. Tai Yang touched another control. New images appeared, showing humans building cities, launching rockets, fighting wars. My people are peaceful. We explore, we learn, but we lack something you have. What's that? Drive. Will. The ability to push forward against all odds. Tai Yang's voice filled with respect. We saw how your kind faced problems, how you always tried to go further, learn more, even when it seemed impossible. Junho watched as the images showed human achievements throughout history. My people believed humanity might someday join us among the stars. Tai Yang continued, we hoped to meet you when you were ready. Instead, I found you, Junho said. Tai Yang nodded, a strange twist of fate. The screen changed again, showing dark shapes moving between stars. The Void Eaters, Tai Yang said, voice growing hard. They consume energy in all forms, stars, planets, technology, even life itself. They leave nothing behind. How do you fight them? Junho asked. We tried many weapons, all failed. Tai Yang touched another control. A complex diagram appeared. This was our last hope, a device to disrupt their energy-absorbing abilities. But we could not complete it before they attacked. Junho studied the diagram. Despite its alien design, he could understand parts of it. This looks like it could work, with some changes. You understand this? Tai Yang seemed surprised. Partially. Doyen could help with the rest. Junho looked at Tai Yang. The Void Eaters are heading toward Earth now. Yes. They move slowly but never stop. Perhaps 20 Earth years before they reach your solar system. Junho turned back to the diagram. Can we download this information? Take it with us? Yes, but for what purpose? Tai Yang asked. I need to warn Earth, Junho said firmly. And bring them this weapon design. But you are so far from your home, Tai Yang reminded him. Junho nodded, a plan forming in his mind. We came through a wormhole to get here. Maybe we can find our way back the same way. A dangerous journey, Tai Yang said. More dangerous than letting the Void Eaters destroy Earth without warning. Junho asked. Tai Yang was quiet for a moment, then nodded. I will help you. My people wanted to meet humans as friends. Now perhaps we can save them instead. Junho sat alone in his quarters, staring at the star maps on his screen. 2 paths lay before him. 2 choices. He could continue the original mission, searching for new planets for humans to live on. Or he could attempt the dangerous journey back through the wormhole to warn Earth about the Void Eaters. The door chimed softly. Enter, Junho called. Tai Yang stepped inside. The alien moved with more strength now, nearly recovered from their ordeal on the station. You were troubled, Tai Yang said. It wasn't a question. Junho nodded. I'm trying to decide what to do. Your mission was to find new homes for your people, Tai Yang said, sitting across from him. You could still do that. While Earth faces destruction, Junho shook his head. What good are new planets if everyone on Earth dies? The journey back through the wormhole may kill us, Tai Yang reminded him. It was not designed for two-way travel. Doyen's voice joined the conversation. I have been analyzing the wormhole data. There is a 62% chance we could navigate back through safely. Those aren't great odds, Junho said. Better than Earth has against the Void Eaters without warning, Doyen countered. Junho looked at Tai Yang. What would you do? Tai Yang was quiet for a moment. I am the last of my station crew. Perhaps the last free Hinulin in this sector. My duty is to carry on our knowledge. The alien's large eyes met Junho's. But knowledge means nothing if it is not shared. Used. Your people deserve a chance to fight. You would come with me, back to Earth? Junho asked. Yes, Tai Yang said simply. My knowledge of the Void Eaters could help, and we could finish the weapon together. Junho stood and walked to the window. Stars shone in the darkness. Somewhere out there was the wormhole that had brought them here. Somewhere much further was Earth. Before we go, Tai Yang said, there is one more thing on the station we should take. A technology my people valued above all others. What is it? Junho asked. A device for transferring consciousness, Tai Yang explained. It allows one to live beyond the natural lifespan of their body. Like uploading a mind to a computer, Junho asked. Similar, but more advanced. The consciousness remains aware, alive. It can be transferred to new bodies when needed. Junho considered this. That could be useful for a long journey. Indeed, Tai Yang agreed. The journey back may take years. This technology could ensure we both survive to reach Earth. Junho turned to face the room. Doyen, how long would it take us to reach the wormhole? At maximum speed, approximately 3 years, the AI replied. And how long from the wormhole to Earth? Another 2 years, assuming we exit the wormhole in the same location we entered it. 5 years, a long time, but not compared to the 50 he had already slept through. And Earth would still have 15 years to prepare for the Void Eaters if they made it back. We need to upgrade the ship first, Junho decided. Take parts from the station. Improve our engines. Make sure we can survive the wormhole passage. I can help with that, Tai Yang offered. Hanulin technology is more advanced than yours in many ways. Junho nodded, his decision made. Then it's settled. We'll salvage what we can from the station, then set course for the wormhole. He held out his hand to Tai Yang, who looked at it curiously. On Earth, this is how we seal an agreement between friends. Tai Yang's 6-fingered hand carefully clasped Junho's 5-fingered one. Friends, the alien repeated. Yes, I believe we are. As they shook hands, Junho felt something he hadn't experienced in a long time. Hope. He was no longer alone on this journey. And maybe, just maybe, they could save Earth together. Junho sat alone in his quarters, staring at the star maps on his screen. 2 paths lay before him. 2 choices. He could continue the original mission, searching for new planets for humans to live on. Or he could attempt the dangerous journey back through the wormhole to warn Earth about the Void Eaters. The door chimed softly. Enter, Junho called. Tai Yang stepped inside. The alien moved with more strength now, nearly recovered from their ordeal on the station. You were troubled, Tai Yang said. It wasn't a question. Junho nodded. I'm trying to decide what to do. Your mission was to find new homes for your people, Tai Yang said, sitting across from him. You could still do that. While Earth faces destruction, Junho shook his head. What good are new planets if everyone on Earth dies? The journey back through the wormhole may kill us, Tai Yang reminded him. It was not designed for two-way travel. Doyen's voice joined the conversation. I have been analyzing the wormhole data. There is a 62% chance we could navigate back through safely. Those aren't great odds, Junho said. Better than Earth has against the Void Eaters without warning, Doyen countered. Junho looked at Tai Yang. What would you do? Tai Yang was quiet for a moment. I am the last of my station crew. Perhaps the last free Hinulin in this sector. My duty is to carry on our knowledge. The alien's large eyes met Junho's. But knowledge means nothing if it is not shared. used. Your people deserve a chance to fight. You would come with me, back to Earth? Junho asked. Yes, Tai Yang said simply. My knowledge of the Void Eaters could help, and we could finish the weapon together. Junho stood and walked to the window. Stars shone in the darkness. Somewhere out there was the wormhole that had brought them here. Somewhere much further was Earth. Before we go, Tai Yang said, there is one more thing on the station we should take. A technology my people valued above all others. What is it? Junho asked. A device for transferring consciousness, Tai Yang explained. It allows one to live beyond the natural lifespan of their body. Like uploading a mind to a computer, Junho asked. Similar, but more advanced. The consciousness remains aware, alive. It can be transferred to new bodies when needed. Junho considered this. That could be useful for a long journey. Indeed, Tai Yang agreed. The journey back may take years. This technology could ensure we both survive to reach Earth. Junho turned to face the room. Doyen, how long would it take us to reach the wormhole? At maximum speed, approximately 3 years, the AI replied. And how long from the wormhole to Earth? Another 2 years, assuming we exit the wormhole in the same location we entered it. 5 years, a long time, but not compared to the 50 he had already slept through. And Earth would still have 15 years to prepare for the Void Eaters if they made it back. We need to upgrade the ship first, Junho decided. Take parts from the station. Improve our engines. Make sure we can survive the wormhole passage. I can help with that, Tai Yang offered. Hanulin technology is more advanced than yours in many ways. Junho nodded, his decision made. Then it's settled. We'll salvage what we can from the station, then set course for the wormhole. He held out his hand to Tai Yang, who looked at it curiously. On Earth, this is how we seal an agreement between friends. Tai Yang's 6-fingered hand carefully clasped Junho's 5-fingered one. Friends, the alien repeated. Yes, I believe we are. As they shook hands, Junho felt something he hadn't experienced in a long time. Hope. He was no longer alone on this journey. And maybe, just maybe, they could save Earth together. 1 year into their journey back to the wormhole, life on the ship had found a rhythm. Junho sat in what they now called the workshop, studying the weapon diagrams from the Hanulin archives. I think I see the problem, he said, pointing to a section of the design. The energy converter can't handle the feedback loop. Tai Yang leaned over to look. Yes, that is why our tests failed. The device would overload. Working together had taught them both much about their different ways of thinking. Humans approached problems with creativity and intuition. Hanulin used logic and careful planning. Together, they found solutions neither could discover alone. What if we add a secondary circuit here? Junho suggested, drawing on the screen. It could divert excess energy. Tai Yang considered this. Interesting. Not how we would approach it, but it might work. Simulation complete, Doyen announced. Junho's modification improves stability by 42%. Tai Yang's mouth curved into what Junho now recognized as a smile. Your human instincts are impressive. Your Hanulin precision is equally valuable, Junho replied. We make a good team. During meals, they shared stories of their worlds. Junho described Earth's oceans, mountains, and cities. Tai Yang spoke of Hanulin floating gardens and crystal towers. Your art focuses on emotion. Tai Yang observed after Junho showed recordings of Earth music. Ours seeks perfect patterns and harmony. Maybe that's why your people watched us, Junho suggested. We're different, but in ways that complement each other. One evening, as the ship's lights dimmed to simulate night, Tai Yang brought a small device to Junho's quarters. This contains our history, the alien explained. I want you to learn it, in case I do not survive the journey. You will survive, Junho insisted. Perhaps, but wisdom prepares for all possibilities. Tai Yang placed the device in Junho's hands. Your people should know who we were, if they are to face what destroyed us. As the second year passed, they completed a working prototype of the weapon. It was small, fitting in Junho's palm, but Doyen's calculations showed it could disrupt a Void Eater's energy field. Only at close range, Tai Yang cautioned, but Earth could build larger versions. If we make it back, Junho said. When we make it back, Tai Yang corrected. The ship's sensors detected something during the third year, a dark shape moving through space behind them. Analysis indicates a Void Eater scout ship, Doyen reported. It appears to be following us. Can it catch us? Junho asked, heart racing. Not before we reach the wormhole, Doyen calculated, but it will be close. They worked faster after that, refining the weapon and strengthening the ship's shields with Hanulan technology. They hunt by sensing energy, Tai Yang explained. Our ship glows like a beacon to them. Can we hide our energy signature? Junho asked. Not completely, but we can mask it for short periods. As they approached the wormhole's location, the tension on the ship grew. The Void Eater scout was gaining on them. Wormhole detected, Doyen announced one morning. We will reach it in 6 hours. Junho and Tai Yang stood side by side on the bridge, watching the view screen. The wormhole looked like a tear in space, dark and swirling. In my culture, Junho said quietly, we have stories of outdoors between worlds. They always required a sacrifice to pass through. In mine, Tai Yang replied, we believe journeys change the traveler. You cannot go home the same as you left. The ship's alarm sounded. The Void Eater scout had increased speed and would reach them before they entered the wormhole. We'll have to fight, Junho said, gripping the console. Tai Yang nodded. Together. The Void Eater scout appeared on their screens, a dark shape against the stars, closing in as they raced toward the wormhole's mouth. Distance to wormhole. 30 minutes, Doyen announced. Void Eater ship will intercept in 22 minutes. Junho's hands moved quickly over the controls. Divert power to engines. We need more speed. That will leave our shields weakened, Tai Yang warned. We won't need shields if we make it to the wormhole first, Junho replied. The ship lurched forward as Doyen increased engine power. On the screen, the dark shape of the Void Eater vessel grew larger. They're still gaining, Tai Yang said, monitoring the sensors. We cannot outrun them. Junho looked at the weapon prototype sitting on the console. It was their only hope. We'll have to use it. The weapon is untested, Tai Yang reminded him. And it requires close range. Then we'll get close. Junho's mind raced with possibilities. Doyen, can you plot a course that will bring us near the Void Eater ship but still lead to the wormhole? Calculating, the eye replied. After a moment, Doyen displayed a curved path on the screen. This trajectory will bring us within weapon range for approximately 12 seconds. That's not much time, Junho said. It is all we have. Tai Yang replied, picking up the weapon. I will operate it. My knowledge of its design is more complete. Junho wanted to argue, but there was no time. All right, I'll fly the ship. They prepared quickly. Tai Yang connected the weapon to the ship's power systems to increase its strength. Junho took manual control of the ship, something he rarely did. 5 minutes to intercept, Doyen warned. Junho felt sweat on his forehead. He had never flown in combat before. His hands gripped the controls tightly. Do not fear, Tai Yang said quietly. Humans have always faced the unknown with courage. It is why my people admired yours. Junho nodded, drawing strength from his friend's words. Ready? Ready, Tai Yang confirmed. The Void Eater ship came into view. It was unlike any vessel Junho had seen before. Black and shapeless, it seemed to absorb the light around it. No windows or engines were visible. It moved like a cloud of darkness. Energy levels dropping, Doyen reported. The Void Eater is beginning to feed on our systems. Not for long, Jun-Ho muttered. He pushed the ship into a steep dive, then banked hard toward the enemy vessel. The move caught the Void Eater by surprise. It turned slowly to follow them. Now, Jun-Ho shouted as they passed close to the dark ship. Tai Yang activated the weapon. A pulse of blue-white energy shot from their ship, striking the Void Eater vessel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the dark ship seemed to ripple, its shape becoming unstable. "It's working," Tai Yang exclaimed. "The energy-absorbing field is disrupted." The Void Eater ship began to spin, trailing what looked like black smoke, but their own ship shuddered violently. "Power systems failing," Doyen warned. "The weapon drained our reserves." "Get us to the wormhole," Jun-Ho ordered, fighting the controls as alarms blared throughout the ship. The wormhole loomed ahead, a swirling vortex in space. Behind them, the damaged Void Eater ship was regaining stability, turning to pursue them once more. "It's still coming," Tai Yang reported. "We just need a few more seconds," Jun-Ho said through gritted teeth. The ship groaned as Jun-Ho pushed it to its limits. Warning lights flashed across the console. The wormhole's edge was now visible on the view screen, a churning wall of energy. "Braced for impact," Jun-Ho called. They plunged into the wormhole just as the Void Eater fired a beam of darkness toward them. The ship spun violently as space itself seemed to twist around them. Lights failed, and emergency systems activated. Jun-Ho was thrown from his seat. He felt a sharp pain in his head as he hit the wall. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was Tai Yang's face, the alien's mouth moving in words he couldn't hear over the roar of the wormhole. Behind them, the Void Eater ship tried to follow, but exploded as it touched the wormhole's edge, unable to withstand the forces with its damaged systems. The human ship tumbled through space and time, carrying its precious cargo of knowledge toward Earth. Jun-Ho opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt. The ship's emergency lights cast a red glow over everything. He tried to sit up and felt a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Be careful," Tai Yang said. "You were hurt when we entered the wormhole." "Did we make it?" Jun-Ho asked, his voice rough. "Yes," Tai Yang replied. "We are back in your galaxy." Jun-Ho looked around. The bridge was damaged, but functional. Doyen's screens flickered with static. "Doyen, are you there?" Jun-Ho called. "I am." "Functioning," the eye replied, its voice breaking up. "Systems, damaged, but repairable." "Where are we exactly?" Jun-Ho asked, standing carefully. Tai Yang led him to the main view screen. "Look." Jun-Ho gasped. Outside, a giant ringed planet filled the view. "Saturn," he whispered. "We're in the solar system. We made it home." "Yes," Tai Yang confirmed. "But Doyen has discovered something unexpected." "What is it?" Jun-Ho asked. "Time displacement," Doyen explained, its voice steadier now. "The wormhole journey affected the flow of time. According to Earth broadcasts we are receiving, the current year is 2173. Jun-Ho felt his legs weaken. 2173. But that means 120 years have passed on Earth since you left. Tai Yang said gently. "I am sorry, Jun-Ho." Jun-Ho sat down heavily. Everyone he had known was long dead. Su-Jin, who would have been an old woman even if he had returned on schedule, was now a century in the past. "The Void Eaters," he said suddenly. "If we've been gone 120 years, and they were 20 years from Earth when we left, they may already be here," Tai Yang finished. "We must contact Earth immediately." It took 3 days to repair the communication system. When they finally established contact, they were met with suspicion. "Unidentified vessel," came a stern voice over the radio. "You are in United Space Coalition territory. Identify yourself immediately." "This is Dr. Jun-Ho Kim of the Earth exploration vessel Pioneer," Jun-Ho replied. "I was sent on a mission in 2053. There was a long silence. "That's impossible," the voice finally said. That mission was over a century ago. I know how it sounds, Junho said, but I can prove who I am, and I have critical information about a threat to Earth. Plus, I have a visitor you should meet. 24 hours later, they were docked at a space station orbiting Earth. Armed guards escorted them to a meeting room where a stern-faced man in a uniform waited. "I am Commander Hye-Jun Park," he said, studying Junho closely. "Head of Earth Defense Forces." Junho noticed the name. Park. "Any relation to Soo-Jin Kim?" The man's eyes widened slightly. "She was my great-grandmother." "How could you know that?" "She was my sister," Junho said simply. Tests confirmed Junho's identity. DNA matching, old mission records, and personal knowledge no one else could have. The commander's attitude changed from suspicion to awe. "You're really him," Hye-Jun said. "The lost explorer. Your sister never stopped believing you would return someday. She left instructions for her children, and they for theirs." Junho felt tears in his eyes. "She always was stubborn." Hye-Jun turned to Taiyang. "And you are the first alien to visit our world." "I come with warning and hope," Taiyang replied. "The Void Eaters destroyed my civilization. They will reach your solar system in approximately 10 Earth years." Hye-Jun's face grew serious. "Earth has changed since your time, Dr. Kim. Resources are scarce. The population has declined. We've colonized Mars, but little else. We bring technology that might help," Junho said. "A weapon against the Void Eaters, and knowledge of their weaknesses." "Then you have returned just in time," Hye-Jun replied. "Welcome home, great uncle." It seems the Kim family's stubborn hope was well-founded after all.